Hi everyone, welcome to this collaboration with Irit and her Colour in Your Art self-paced online workshop. If you are joining me from the class itself, you will know what I'm talking about if you've watched the videos. If you are watching this from my channel, then please check out her workshop and you'll have more of an understanding of what it's all about. Anyway, without further ado, what I have here in my hands are the three primary, not primary colours, but my three colours that I have chosen. Now, the whole point of this workshop is to, so if you're faced with creating, you sit down to create and you face overwhelm, this course has been created so that you will feel less overwhelmed and you will discover your own personal colour palette. Now, my colour palette is very similar to Irit's, but once I sat down and I picked out all the colours that I had and I chose a colour from the reds or the pinks, the blues and the yellows, I discovered, and once mixing them you'll see, that they were slightly different from the colour palette in her videos. So I was really excited when they came together. So I have here, these are, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, Peebo. Anyway, it's high viscosity, so it's quite transparent. But this is Azo Pink, and then I've got here turquoise blue and light Azo Yellow. I have created my colour wheel. These are the acrylics, and let me just move it over so you can see. Okay, this is in a Diane Reevely journal. It's a Disillusions journal, and I did prep the pages with gesso, but then I also did another one without, and they were both pretty similar, so it didn't really make much difference to me. So don't panic about that if you go to do your wheel. But anyway, so I basically put down my three chosen colours, as you'll see here, and then I mixed them to get my tones, did my colour wheel, and I was thrilled to discover the colours that they made, the greens that they made, the purples, this orange here. Then I blended them here so I had an idea of my palette, and my palette was growing. I was getting really excited. I then chose my other three colours, which were, I'm going to show you my other three, to add three more. So that's my three. I added neon pink, all acrylics, turquoise and lime this one's by Dina Wakely. So you can see, if you've got quite a small stash and they're all different makes and brands, it doesn't matter, just pick. Obviously you get your first three, then your other three. If you've seen Irit's videos, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So you have your base here of colours. This is my colour palette and I'm absolutely loving it. It's just opened up a whole new world, and then I just got a bit crazy. Then I found, what I did was, once I did that with the acrylics, I started to find the watercolours, the complementing watercolours. So I found for my Azo Red, the closest I could find was Quinacridone Rose in White Nights. For my for my turquoise blue, closest I could get was Phthalo Turquoise. And for my Azo Yellow, Cadmium Yellow Medium. So that's those. And then for my next three, lime, turquoise and neon pink, I know I did opera pink for that one, that was a given. What I did was I decided to be a bit adventurous and try to mix the closest colours I could with my watercolours. So really has been a journey. So what I have decided to do for my video, I'm going to show you. So this will hopefully help you. So I'm going to do a process page in my traveller's notebook, but what I wanted to show you is this. Okay, so this is my traveller's notebook. If you're not used to traveller's notebooks, this one is in the standard regular size, which was the initial size that they came in. And now they come in all sorts of sizes. I cut out, so the inserts in here I had to cut 22 width by 11 centimetres in the length, and then I just folded them over and stapled them together. Now this is a mix of acrylic mixed media paper and watercolour paper. This insert, I'm going to decorate the cover, but this insert is my colour palette. Okay, so this is my colour palette. Now I can get more colours with these, but let me just explain them to you. So these are my watercolours here, and so you've got your quinacridone rose, phthalo turquoise, cadmium medium yellow, then I have the opera pink. Then, like I said, I mixed these ones, so I did four, and I'm absolutely just thrilled that I managed to get this colour. Okay, so I mixed yellowish green, then number 16 in the tropical set from Prima, and a Hansa yellow. I mixed those together to create lime, which is these are the acrylics here. So it was really close, very, very close. I was so happy with that. Then I mixed cobalt teal blue in Daniel Smith's, turquoise blue and yellowish green to create this colour that was really close to the turquoise in the acrylics. So these are my colours. I mixed them with white here and here, and this just blew my mind. The pastels that I got from these colours are on point. They are just exactly my colours, like what gets just lights me up, gets my heart going, and these are my colours. So I was like stunned to see that actually from the colours that I was more drawn to, they actually created the pastels in the right tints of the pastel colours that I like. Then here is my acrylic colour wheel, and the primary three that I chose mixed with white, and then obviously blended together, and then I added some white with those so you could see the lovely pastel tones that you get there. So that is going to, in here I'm going to do a couple more pieces where I will be playing around with the colours. But for this video I'm going to be using an insert in my A5 Traveller's Notebook, which was a custom order. I got it, I asked for it to be like rainbow colours, so I thought it's really appropriate to be using this one for this video. I'm going to be using the Breeze notebook, which has Tomo River paper in it, and what I'm going to be doing for this process video is testing out the watercolours for the background and then the acrylics on some hand-drawn doodles, on some, like, I traced real flowers and then I doodled them. So I'll be sticking these were practice doodles, and I didn't really know what to do with these, so I decided to stick them into my journal. So I thought this would be a really good way of practicing with this colour palette that I have. So these will be painted in acrylic. First I'm going to be doing a watercolour background. So I shall speed up this process for you. dry, I'm probably gonna, I may force dry it with the heat gun that I have. But you do get different effects. If you leave it to dry, it will have a different effect. Both are equally beautiful. They're really, really nice. But the whole idea for this is to play with those colours. Play, I mean, especially like with Tomo River paper, it just sometimes sits beautifully long enough for you to be able to mix those colours together and just create the most stunning mix of colours. So what I've done is I've played with all 6 of my colours to create this lovely background, so it gives me an idea of the colours that I can get with them once they're all together. And next, once this is dry, I'm going to be adding my collage pieces and then using my acrylic paints. Goodness, so these doodles done on transfer paper when stuck down look amazing. Honestly, like, I've practiced with one flower on some other paper, but it didn't bring through for some reason the colour. But look at that, I mean, that's amazing. It's like they are just doodled onto, I mean, I have doodled these, but not onto this paper. I've like stuck them down and they look amazing. I'm so happy with it. I almost don't want to put acrylic paint on this now because I just love the effect, so I might do this again with on another page because I just love the effect of this. Now I'm going to add a stalk on this flower and this flower and maybe this, and then I will begin to add the acrylic paint. So this, you can see, I've got space here to journal on. How easy it is just to, so if you're really limited with your art supplies, I have done all of this with just 6 colours, and then your basic pen and white gel pen. You don't even have to use a white gel pen if you haven't got one of these. You can use like obviously paint pens or pastels or whatever you have. So basically I've got 2, 3, so those 3, this one, oh, and obviously white paint. I mix in a little white paint as well sometimes, and my other little colours. There's the other one gone. But yeah, so you get the idea. I have 6 colours there, and I've used tracing paper for the doodles. I mean, you can get tracing paper cheap and easily enough. So what I did when I came to this page, I just took my basic, my 6 watercolours, and I decided to just put them on a page and just mix them together, let them dry, and then when I stuck down the tracing paper doodle, I loved the effect so much because it showed through the watercolour, and I really didn't want to paint on here. So if that's you know, then don't paint on them. But for me, I wanted a page where I could show both mediums, both acrylics and watercolours, and just to show what my colour palette can do. And the interesting thing is I found that on the tracing paper, the acrylic paint does come out quite a different colour. It's quite vibrant and bold against the lovely, beautiful, like candy coloured watercolours. I do prefer the watercolours. But when you see the acrylics in the Traveller's Notebook insert that I made, there's almost like a cleaner look, because it's against white. Obviously, because they're on the tracing paper, it's kind of, they're bright, but they're sort of like, I don't know, like dulled down in a way, but they do pop against the watercolour. But yeah, it's just about playing and experimenting and having fun with it. Next, I would love to do a page with the pastels that I've made with my colours. Definitely going to explore this one next. So just have fun. This is Tomoe River paper. You can paint on whatever you have. Experiment, play. Don't feel that you know, don't be too nervous about experimenting on different papers. If you have a journal and you're too nervous to use it because you don't know how your medium how the paper will react to the medium, then maybe if you're brave enough to take a page out or just practice on the back page, which is exactly what I did in this one when I was testing out my Aqua Spectrum Noirs, which incidentally didn't bleed through. Just play, have fun, experiment, and see where your art takes you. So yeah, play around with the colours, have fun with it all, and when you have a palette like this, you know, you just have a small palette, you're not so overwhelmed, and you learn so much. And especially if you don't know colour theory or a colour wheel, if you obviously you just put down your 3 primaries and then you mix them like this, that in itself you learn so much from. And then you start mixing the colours, make yourself a little insert like this. Obviously I'm going to decorate the front page. When you test out, do your swatches of all your colours, you just learn so much about colour theory and about your own self as well with your own colour palette. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this process video. If you have any questions, just let me know. Okay, thank you. Bye.